The fact that no one has done a deck profile on this deck is kind of insane to me. Not even Triff.
What color is your Bugatti, bro?
Wait, I just realized something. Let me get that out real quick. Let's get into the deck profile. Let's begin. 3 Harmonizing, 3 Oak Dragon, 3 Double Iris, 3 Wisdom Eye, 3 Purple Poison. Okay, all these are self-explanatory. You should always play 3 of each in a deck if you're playing Pendulum Magician. Though the Purple Poisons, I'm playing 3 of them this format just because they are cards like Winda that you will need to out using this, and Purple Poison is the best kind of out. The one of Magicians, Celestial, Dragon Pit, and Time Gazer. Dragon Pit is mostly for back row decks and Mystic Bind, which is very prevalent in this format. Time Gazer, the main reason you play him because you're playing triple chronograph to summon it off of the chronograph. That's pretty understandable, to be honest. The starters, we have Skokobat Joker for a normal summon and Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser because you want to summon this always to try to go into Beyond the Pendulum. It is actually just insane. Either you play hands with Skokobat, which will normal summon add something, and then you'll have to play without Beyond the Pendulum. Or if you're drawing Curtain Raiser plus a normal summon, the normal summon will Pendulum monsters, then you can just go into Beyond the Pendulum. You have multiple options with that. Or best case scenario, you are currently with Curtain Raiser and Skokobat in hand. You summon Curtain Raiser, you normal summon Skokobat, and you get a plus 1. Plus the Beyond the Pendulum that will add you whatever scale or monster you would want from your deck to your hand. And also, yeah, the same applies with Chronograph plus Skokobat or Chronograph plus any normal summon. Magician Souls, it's really good to go into Beyond the Pendulum because Beyond the Pendulum requires only 1 monster to be a Pendulum monster for the Link summon, which is really cool. Scythe, because we're not having fun this format. Triple Duelist Alliance. Duelist Alliance is a insane card. It literally gets you the Pendulum Calls or the Start Pendulum Graph or the Time Pendulum Graph. It could also add you Double Wires, which is a really cool interaction with some like situations because you can like bait out and negate and then proceed to Duelist Alliance, search Double Wires to like proceed with your combos. The final card would be I'll just put it here. 3 Pot of Prosperity. You can play Desires. Literally, Desires is really good in this deck. But I'm playing Prosperity just for the fact that I really want to see cards that help me out with boards. Like for example, the Purple Poison, which is very important. Very important to out boards. But you could if you can't afford the Prosperities, I recommend just playing the Desires. Desires gets you a draw 2, and you don't need to worry about the engine because we don't play Hulk anymore, so that means we don't play Tuning Magician anymore. So that's the best part. We don't have to worry about Tuning Magician. For the extra deck, we play our only Link 1 Artemis, or situations where you have to normal summon a monster. Most of the time a Magician monster, you have to start Pendulum Graph, you link it off into it. For our Link 2s, we play Beyond the Pendulum, our most important extra deck monster in the deck. This card is very important. It doesn't matter if you can solve it or not, it is insane. It is really good. Because if your opponent would negate it, that means that you will be able to Pendulum Summon to these 2 zones, which is, you know, even if it gets negated, it's good. It's straight up good. Dark to help us to Link Climb, which is very important in this deck. It is insanely important to Link Climb, so you can be able to go into access code very easily. We got Dagda. Set your non-fun card called Artifact Scythe with it. Our only Link 3 is Celine. We can easily get a Spellcaster Engrave to be able to summon it off of it. Or, worst case scenario, oh no, I summoned the Link 3, I have an extra monster. Well, but let me go into access code. Or if your opponent negates it or something. Like, you still have options. This card is insane. Our Link 4s, we have our Access Code Talker. If you cannot afford Access Code Talker, maybe play Cereboros. Cereboros is a really good card in this format because you get to banish everything. However, you do have to keep in mind that if you do banish everything, you might banish your skills. So I'm sorry, but you're probably gonna have to banish your skills. I'm so sorry about that. And Appaloosa. Appaloosa is the main reason why you will not get Nibiru'd unless you you get hit with the Beyond the Pendulum summon, and then your opponent hits you with a Nibiru. But to be honest, you can't do anything about that, sadly. There is no way, unless you play a completely different deck. It's something you just have to accept, and always make sure that you go into Appaloosa as fast as possible. Now for XYZs, we have Abyss Dweller. Self-explanatory, it's really good, this format. Tornado Dragon to be able to pop our Artifact Scythe. Baguska, because it's Baguska. Time Star Magician. This card is insane. It is really good. You could get Magician Souls off of this, which is a really cool interaction. Or you could just get any other card in your engine. But yeah, it's a pretty cool card to extend combos. And I don't use it as often, but it comes up a lot. It can come up a lot. Here comes my favorite engine, Raiders Knight and Arc Rebellion. You because this deck has a lot of darks, you can go into Raiders Knight to go into Arc Rebellion attack for game. Time for the synchros. Warlord Savage. It's Warlord Savage. It's negate. You're probably gonna have a Link in the graveyard by the time, and the other card is a Burrow on the Floor. Burrow on the Floor. If you can't afford it, I'm sorry. I am very sorry. This card is very important in this deck. Depending on summon harmonizing effects, summon Elf Dragon, then you synchro them off into Baron. It's the quickest negate, and also it has the best interaction with Celestials. Celestials on board. While this is on board, you can activate this to make sure that your opponent doesn't activate any monster effects for the rest of the turn, and they cry about it. I'm sorry to tell you this, but there is no certain combo that you will be able to make with Pendulum Magician. It is always different, but most of the time you kind of would be ending up on very similar boards, so you'll see a lot of things that will look similar. Let's get into the combo and draw 5 cards. Okay, this hand's insane. So here, when it's a non-linear deck, you will be able to do a lot of stuff. You have a lot of options, but I recommend to always Curtain Eraser effect, Curtain Eraser, set the scale, Curtain Eraser effect, summon Curtain Eraser, you normal summon Skullcombat effect, you search a card like Wisdom Eye, because you already have a Magician in your hand, so you kind of want that. So you put it up on the scales, you Wisdom Eye effect. Wisdom Eye effect will set the Elf Dragon. You will link these two off into a Beyond the Pendulum effect, pay 1200. You look for a Harmonizing. You can't activate any effects, not even skills nor monsters, so you're going to have the Pendulum Summon here. Sadly, this is where Nibiru would mostly come up, and I'm sorry, there is no way to avoid that. I am very sorry to tell you that in these types of hands. The best thing you can do is try to play around it and try to keep as much resources, but in this situation we have a Time Pendulum Gap, which is enough. Pendulum Summon, Harmonizing effect. Summons Elf Dragon. Here, the first thing you do, you synchro Harmonizing and Elf Dragon. This will be banished into a Burrow on the Floor. Here you link into a Dagda. Here, because we have Burrow on the Floor, we can do this. Now we can exceed. We have options. We can either, if you know what your opponent is playing, let's say if they're playing Tier Limit, you go into Abyss Dweller. Go into Abyss Dweller here because you could still Scythe Lock using Burrow. Let's give an example. Let's say if I'm playing against Tier Limit, I'll summon Abyss Dweller here. I'll activate Elf Dragon effect to add 1. I'll chain Dagda, setting Scythe. Okay, after the Dagda resolves, you add the Harmonizing, Burrow effect, popping the background, pop the Scythe. Scythe will not activate here because it activates in your opponent's turn. It is currently in the graveyard with the Beyond the Unknown. Yeah, set 1 here, which would be the Time Pendulum Graph. We'll pass turn. Opponent's turn starts. You hit him with the Dweller. Then you hit standby effect. Your Burrow on the Floor effect, targeting Scythe. Here, if they have something to negate it that is not a droplet, you will probably be able to negate it. So So this will probably resolve. So this would go back into the extra deck, and you summon the Scythe effect to Scythe lock your opponent there. And your opponent is locked out of the graveyard as well. And also you have an interruption here that will protect you if they do have any other plays available. So yeah, that is a pretty good idea on what you can do. The other option to Scythe lock is just to not pop the Scythe and go into Tornado Dragon. You go into Tornado Dragon instead of Dweller, and then you during your opponent's like draw phase or something, you Tornado Dragon target the back row and try to pop it. And then there with the Baronne, you'll make sure that if your opponent has an imperm and holds it until, let's say, the Scythe, say a Scythe summon, then you can protect the Scythe activation, which is a better option when it comes to in general. But if we're playing against tier limit, I do always like to go into Bestoler instead, because Bestoler is insane. So yeah, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, let's go.